Hi there, my name is Ron Rogers, and I am going to talk about United States Air Force spin training. And basically, this is an urban legend. I've had people request, hey, tell me some Air Force instructor stories. So I've told a number of those, and I'm going to go now and tell a couple of what we in the instructor ranks referred to as urban legends. And this one, I believe it to be true, a true legend, but I've heard it in slightly different variations from different instructors at different bases. So it may or may not be true, but it's an interesting story, and I am going to convey it because it gives a little bit of insight into the whole training process. Now, this is my pilot training class, my half, our section. There were two sections. This was C flight. There was also D flight. We had 60 students in the class. It was a large class. And this was back in 7407, and due to the energy crisis, we slipped to 7501 as a class. Now that blue arrow, that's me. You can't tell with the color of the hair, but that's me. Young Air Force would-be pilot. Now, we had a number of foreign nationals that we trained in pilot training. They trained with us, along with us, and we had two Iranian students in our section. There were some more in the class in the other section, but the way we were kind of separated, you really didn't meet the other section. They were just like almost a whole other class. But I'm going to talk to you about Iranian students in general and these two. Now, the one with the green arrow is Ali. And we nicknamed him Ali Akbar, which is Ali is great. And we also called him the Iranian slang slewer because he would take American slang phrases such as bull defecation, which, could be used if you came across something you thought may not be the most true. Hopefully not this story here. But anyway, but he called it bully defecation. And he had a few other phrases like that. And Ali was a very interesting guy. These guys were, they were well selected. They had to really represent their country. So there was a lot of pressure for these guys, to act and do well. There were some other groups that I'll tell you one specifically that did not quite succumb to that pressure, and there's some interesting stories, especially in Eden, Oklahoma. But Ali was a good guy and a good student, good pilot, and he, in the T-38s especially, he would be flying the pattern, and he would just be looking out at the runway, not really paying attention to his speed. Of course, you can keep the AOA in your sight there, but the instructor would say, Ollie, look at your speed, because he'd be a few knots off, and he'd kind of turn his head over there, and he'd go, oh, it is fine, and turn back and not pay any more attention to it. It was kind of interesting. I guess you'd call him, in some respects, a natural pilot because he just flew it almost by instinct, but it was his instructors were just scratching their head because, he wasn't really paying attention to the airspeed as much as you should, and it deviated a little bit, but he flew a good airplane. The other gentleman there in the yellow arrow, he, I'm not going to mention his name, for whatever reason, but he had a very nice wife, very good student, and here's kind of the issue with the Iranian pilots. They were selected under the Shah's regime, the Shah of Iran. And of course, the U.S. supported the Shah. And when the Shah fell, a lot of these people who were in the military that he had promoted were in very physical danger. In fact, I don't know what happened to Ali. The other individual in the yellow arrow, I was told that he and his wife were able to escape in time, and that he actually had a very successful business in Los Angeles, and actually it turned out to be very wealthy. I don't know what happened to Ali, unfortunately, but we heard that a lot of these people they were raided. Their homes were raided in the middle of the night, and they were summarily executed. So not a good thing. But now, back to this story. Now back to Iranian students in general. They knew that they represented their country. There was a lot of pride there, and they had to make a good showing. They could not, like a lot of the people, any foreign nationals that we had, they did not want to disgrace their country. So there was a lot of pressure on them. And this is the story about one student, and actually I'm not sure what base he was supposedly from, but he was in T37 Primary Training. All right, primary flying jet. That's the T37 book we went by as students, and it had all the maneuvers and basically how to fly. Now, one of the things we did was spins, and this was early on in the program. You know, we would do patterns and basic air work and stuff like that, but spins was a big part of it. All right, so you'd go up high and we would do spins, and this was the single spin recovery. This recovery would get you out of any possible spin. Upright, inverted, accelerated, because basically it would transition you back to an upright, unaccelerated spin if you were in anything otherwise. So it was, and I still remember this over 45 years later, throttles, idle, rudder, and ailerons, neutral, stick abruptly, full left and hold, rudder abruptly by full rudder, opposite spin direction, opposite turn, needle, and hold. Stick abruptly, full forward, one turn after applying, rudder controls, neutral after spinning, stops, and recover from dive. Okay, it's a procedure, a lot of steps, but it's very rote. We sat in chairs. We had the plumber's helper there, you know, with the use to clear toilet sort of thing, and we would practice it. You know, you do the various things with your feet and stuff, and basically, if you went through the mechanical steps, you would recover. Well, the T-37 is a rather formidable aircraft, and this is the first one that pilots get into, coming into training typically. I mean, they may have some pre-initiation into flying, but this is the one that you're in the military jet, and I mean, there's a lot of dials there, there's a lot of clocks, there's a lot of knobs, and you get the flight suit on, you get the parachute on, and it can get a little claustrophobic for some people, and it can be challenging because the program is not like your typical, I'm going to go out to the local airport and learn how to fly in my Cessna 150. No, this is intense, it's well structured, and it moves along quickly, and if you don't move along quickly too, then you can have serious problems because the Air Force isn't going to wait a lot of time for somebody who can't learn quickly to fly. Now, most people, the old saying was, you know, with an infinite supply of bananas, you could teach a monkey to fly. The thought is that most people can fly, but the Air Force isn't going to waste a lot of time teaching slow students to fly because they will have trouble later on. And I mean, I know things are different now. 2 years to get a private pilot's license, which I hear is fairly normal, just seems outrageous. I did it, you know, it was different back then. Okay, when I did mine 53 years ago, I did it in 6 weeks and 35 hours. But that was, you know, if you do things intensely, you can do a lot better when you have to live a normal life and a job and stuff like that, and normal finances, and especially how expensive it's gotten now. It can get stretched out. I understand that. But anyway, there was this student. Okay, his name was Abdul. And Abdul was having a lot of difficulty doing spins. He would get up there and he would just not be able to recover. He would not do the procedure right. And the thing about it is, if you didn't hold the stick back and you went forward, the spin would accelerate. If you didn't do the rudder correctly, it would accelerate. And when the spin accelerated, it was an eye opener. I mean, it got your attention. And I mean, if you're new in this and stuff like this, it could be fairly scary and stuff like that. So he was having a lot of trouble with spins, and he just basically could not recover with the spin. The instructor he was working with would take him up, they'd put him in a spin. He would fail the recovery. He wouldn't be able to recover from the spin. The instructor would have to recover. They'd go back up. And they were just working with him. And I mean, it was getting to the point where he was going to be out of the program, okay? And, you know, as instructors, we put pressure on the students to succeed, but we don't like to see fail, especially, you know, after they've gone to all the trouble to get to this point, because it's a fairly intense selection process. And boy, you can be eliminated pretty quickly, though. It's amazing how much effort will go into getting to the point of getting into pilot training and how fast you can be out the door. It can be kind of shocking at times. But anyway, he was having trouble doing these spins, and he just could not recover. And finally, the instructor thinks, I'm going to be clever here. I'm going to use some psychology because he knows how much motivated these people were, and how their national pride depended on the way they functioned. So he goes up and he gets the aircraft. They enter a spin. Okay, they're in the spin, and Abdul is not doing a good job to recover. And so he takes it again. He goes up and he says, okay, this one last time. He tells Abdul to enter the spin. He says, okay, I've recovered all these times because you have not been able to recover from the spin. And he says, I've had it. I am not going to recover the aircraft. If you don't recover the aircraft, we're going to spin in and we're going to die. So you're going to have to recover the aircraft or we're going to die. There was a slight pause. And the student said, Abdul Not Afraid to Die. That's when the instructor took the aircraft and flew the aircraft back, and that was the end of Abdul's flight training in the Air Force. Now, like I said, this is an urban legend. It's been floating around for a long time. I've heard it with slightly different derivations from different bases, but it is one of the more enduring urban legends, at least of that time. It'd be kind of interesting to know if other people are familiar with this years later. But at the time, back in the 70s, when I was a T37 instructor in the Air Force, this was one of the enduring urban legends. And I've got a few more coming up too. I think you'll enjoy. Thanks for watching.